What's going on, guys? Slavey here, and welcome back to another Albion Online video. Today we will clear a tier 5 solo dungeon, and I have been doing this on the test server for the last 2 days. Not 24/7 of course, but when I had the time to do so. And from my findings, you get about 400 to 600k fame per hour in the most ideal scenario. And when I say that, I mean without counting the downtime of walking from a dungeon to a dungeon. It's the average of all the dungeons I did so far. It's also an 8.3 gear, normal quality but overcharged. So you could say it's 8.3 masterpiece equivalent. You can see my Destiny board is fully unlocked, and that's because I am on the test server right now. I wouldn't be doing this type of stuff on the real server, but I want to show you guys that you don't get millions of fame per hour from doing solo dungeons in the green zone, And I think the average of 500k fame per hour in the most ideal scenario, right? This is like perfect scenario. You enter a dungeon with this type of gear, which is crazy to buy if you are a beginner, right? Buying this type of gear as a beginner, it's just crazy work. But without any downtime, without counting the fact that you need to go from dungeon to dungeon, look for a dungeon, or if you pop a map, that you go to that one, which is still going to take time. But even with a satchel, a satchel is going to give you 50% more on average, right? There is no way you're going to get millions of fame, man. And I think personally, for 500k per hour, maybe 600k per hour as a beginner is really good already, In a safe environment, getting that type of fame, that's really nice. Because when the game was released, we would get that type of fame in the most dangerous zones, right? So you guys are pretty lucky, but just because you're lucky doesn't mean you should be deceived as well. That being said, you can see the fame I have for killing mobs right now. It's at 289k, right? So 290k, you could say, because it's pretty close to that. We're gonna note that down quickly. 290k starting fame, all right? So here we have 290k starting fame, and as soon as it hits 16.19 on the timer, I'm gonna start rushing this dungeon. So one thing you guys need to know is that I do have premium running, and that gives me an additional 50% fame, which isn't calculated in here, but whatever we end up with as a profit or a gain here, we need to add 33% more on. Or, yeah, 30%. Because I need to keep an eye on the timer, but as you can see, one of the kills I had was 69 fame. I got 23 from the yellow zone and 23 from premium. And that makes for an increase of 33% in your stats, basically. So it's 16.19. I'm quickly going to note that down as well, alright? Because I tend to forget these type of stuff, man. I did lose a couple very important seconds there doing that, but it is what it is. So the build I'm using is very high DPS. I will talk about it a bit after the run, because, wouldn't be fair if I started showing my build instead of trying to clear this dungeon as quick as possible, right? So with this buff, I can literally one-shot mobs, which is pretty nice. I didn't one-shot that one. That's unfortunate. Anyway, it is quite easy, so I think I can talk about the build without showing it. Well, what is this? Is this a legendary? No, it's not, unfortunately. It's a blue, right? This is blue, yes. Right, so let's pop a 8.1 poison on this boss, because it's so difficult. Right, so we have loot here. We would normally pick this up, right? So with the silver we don't pick up, because who needs silver when you have this type of gear, right? Oh, we missed one here, actually. So, killing the mobs is not the problem, as you can see, you know? Especially with a set like this, which is like very high DPS, but also it's overkill, right? It's insane overkill. 8.3 masterpiece equivalent set. I am overcharged, like, for a TFI dungeon, it's just silly, honestly. I mean, which beginner is going to be able to afford that? I don't know. You would literally have to swipe at least 100 euros, I think, for a set like that, right? At least. Probably more. I'm not really sure about the prices of Masterpiece for this type of gear. Like spec the jacket and all that. But I guess the boots you could go with Assassin or any other leather, to be honest. But then again, you don't really need... You don't need high armors, right? Like the fact these are all... Well, this maybe, but these two don't have to be 8.3. It's not going to affect your DPS, and... Do you really need those defenses that much? I don't know. Now, either way, as you guys can see, this is stupid easy, right? But what does it add up to? That's like the question, right? What does it add up to? Why can't I open this? Well, that's just weird. That's very weird. I'm not sure why I can't open that. That was very weird. Did I skip a room or something? I don't think so. Well, I'm not gonna go back for that because it would affect my time. Yeah, it's boring, man. This is so freaking boring, dude. Imagine you do this all the fucking time. And then you start complaining about how Albion Online is boring. Oh, no big surprises there, guys. I honestly, personally, I don't enjoy solo content anymore, man. It's why I never... It's like why I never do grab the dungeons, you know. Even my fame farm, I always go with groups. Group content is just so much more interesting and fun. Line of sight blocked. That's interesting. Well, I think I cleared this dungeon as quick as possible, right? I mean, someone who's an expert on this matter might be able to clear it 10-20% faster, but it's not gonna be much faster than that, right? Alright, so here we have another chest I cannot open. Why is this? Alright, this is weird, but anyway, it's 1624. Alright? Let's go. You left too many enemies alive? Something is very wrong here. I think I missed the room, honestly. Anyway, 1624. I started at 1615. No, sorry. I started at 1619. So 1619, and it's 1624. So it means it took us 5 minutes to clear this one floor dungeon. Alright. And when I started, I had 290k starting fame in my stats. Let's see. Fame for killing mobs, 314k. So it's a difference of 24k. 24k fame, and we need to add plus 33% for the stats that are missing because of the premium, right? Because that's not calculated. So 33% on that is about 7k, right? I believe it's 7k, but you know, let's confirm that right away here. 1.33, 32k. So we got 32k fame in 5 minutes. All right, and we did this by having a 8.3 set. For this, we need the 8.3 set. That's masterpiece, right? in a tier 5 yellow zone solo dungeon, which is system spawned. So it's less difficult than a map. It's like the easiest yellow zone solo dungeon you can do, right? Because a map would be 16% more difficult. And that's the easiest map. So let me see, 32k fame in 5 minutes. So in 1 hour, we would be able to do 12 of these dungeons, correct? Minutes is 12 dungeons. Now, I'm not counting travel time, right? Because right now, I would have to exit the dungeon. I would have to look for a new dungeon, which will probably take me 1 or 2 minutes as well. You know, based on my luck. There might be a dungeon right outside, but I might also have to look for one. If I pop a map, you know, I would still have to travel, which might be another zone. So realistically, this isn't realistic. This is when you enter a dungeon and you don't leave it for 1 hour. But nonetheless, okay, nonetheless, we are gonna count it as 12 dungeons. And 12 dungeons times 32k fame, yeah. I think I already said at the start of my video, I came down to an average of 500k fame over the last 2 days, right? And you can see for yourself that 12 times 32 is 384k fame, right? Which is slightly below my average, but it is realistic. It is realistic. So I don't know how people pull millions of fame as a result from doing these dungeons, you know? If someone can make a video which is raw footage, which is not edited footage, right? And show me how they zoom through a dungeon in a way I cannot imagine, you know? Because honestly, dungeons are not so much about killing the monsters, right? If you have an efficient build, it's not so much about killing the monsters. It's the fact you need to walk through them. Look, guys, the dungeon is empty right now, you know? And as you can see, I still need to walk a shit ton, you know, to get from point A to point B, you know? The dungeons are going to be very different, all right? Over the past 2 days, whilst spamming these dungeons, I had a lot of different dungeons. You know, I had dungeons which were 1 floor, and those floors took like 5 minutes. I had dungeons that were 3 floors, and those 3 floors combined took 5 minutes, you know. But one thing that didn't change was the fact that I came down to an average of like 500k fame per hour, you know, and that is without the travel time, right? Like I'm saying this once again, without the travel time between the dungeons, guys. You know, editing stuff by cutting them and making it most optimal for yourself to use it as proof is just manipulative, you know. I don't do that stuff. There is not one video I've published so far that has like manipulative information. So I think it's important you do your own research. And this applies to anything in life, right? You do your own research if you want real answers to things. And honestly, I didn't need this research myself today, but a lot of beginners are being made to believe that Yellow Zone dungeons are superior to any other content in the game, whilst, you know, requiring this type of gear, which no beginner can afford, right? And it's just not realistic, man. The requirements aren't realistic. The outcome isn't realistic, you know. Nothing is realistic about this. So I'm looking for any possible things I might have skipped here, but, you know, I don't really know what else to say, man. I mean, I don't want to waste your time doing another dungeon either, but if you don't believe me, you know, go on the test server yourself, which is where I am right now. Unlock everything, put on a very high DPS build, and do this for yourself. And tell me, man, if you get 1 million per hour, 2 million per hour, whatever, just, you know, drop a video on my screen and I will watch it. And I will be surprised because from my findings, it really is an average of 500k per hour when everything is fucking perfect. You have the perfect gear. You don't have to travel from dungeon to dungeon, you know. You get like some really good bosses, you know. I don't know, dude. It's just you need to understand that these are solo randomized dungeons. I don't understand this, man. I'm at the entrance again, but I only skipped one mob and I couldn't open two of those chests. That's pretty weird. That's really weird. I never had that before. But yeah, I think this concludes the video, and I don't think there is any point rambling any further, you know, to increase the video length to milk you guys from your this is it. This is it. It's these freaking mobs that I missed. Oh no. I'm at least happy. Of course, man. Look at so many mobs. It's like 10 mobs I missed. Alright, at least I got some clarification there, so that's nice. And now you guys also know why I couldn't open the chests, but yeah. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the loot because the loot is completely different from the real server. Maybe in another video, if you guys want me to, then I would have to test this on the real server. But I think you are gonna get about 300k silver on average from doing these dungeons, which once again is nice silver if you ask me, because the fame is really good as well for a beginner, right? But don't be fooled, you get much more fame in the more advanced content within the game, guys. You can get up to millions per hour in fame without a satchel, right? By doing group content. And you know, if I find a clip, I might attach it right after this video at the end, at the outro, to show you how much we are getting from group content, alright? So, once again, this time, 400k fame per hour. On average, from my testings, 500k fame per hour with premium, no satchel. And it's not gonna get much better than that. Maybe 600k, you know, if all the stars align to your wishes, maybe 700k fame, but not millions. So here's that. All I have to say is that you guys should take care, and that I'll see you guys next time, alright?
I've been feeling just a little bit low. Got to get back to the show and we'll fly. Yeah. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. No one should have to dance alone, not tonight.